And the other day I saw a brief snippet of an interview with Gabor Mate, with someone interviewing him, and he was talking about the fact that if he could do it over again, he would have spent time differently. He would not have spent so much of his early years pursuing graduate degrees and career ambitions and excellence in his field. And now, with the passage of time and being able to look back, he would have allocated more time, if he was wiser, to being with his family. And he was saying that in the way of a compliment to his interviewer, whom he had remarked he was impressed with the fact that the interviewer took a couple of weeks of vacation every summer, maybe more than that, and he just turned off and he spent time with his family, and particularly growing family, his own children. And Gabor Mate was saying that this is his regret. And what struck me, what I thought was a really profound piece of what he had to say, because we hear people talk about regrets all the time, how they would have spent time, and then they look back and it's cats in the cradle all over again, right? Harry Chapin's brilliant song that is a distilled parable and a distilled beautiful lesson in the wisdom of parenting and being parented. And it goes along with Jim Croce, and the two of them died in car accidents and everything, time in a bottle. I think about that a lot too. But the brilliance, this piece of it that Gabor Mate was talking about that I want to admit to is the ego piece. And what Dr. Mate was saying was that a lot of the quests that we have in our ambitions, in our careers, are about justifying our existence on earth. And I identify with that. I get that. A lot of what I've done and a lot of what I continue to want to do comes from my deepest yearning to be worthy, to be somebody who has accomplished something, to be somebody who has achieved something, to be somebody who other people can say, oh, she did that. She's worthy because she did that. And that, of course, is our ego, right? What else is that if not our ego? But I don't know if it's something that I was raised to have be a part of me, or it's something I picked up from my wider cultural surroundings, or it's something that I decided was important, which is to say, to not be a consumer blob on this earth, but be a contributor to this earth. Because in the way that I have looked at things in my life, I have seen that some people, and I'm not talking about incapable people, I'm talking about perfectly capable people, choose to consume, choose to live off of the labor of others. Maybe they have the wealth to do so, maybe they don't. But they choose to not be part of the industrial, accomplishing, achieving part of humanity. And I always wanted to be part of the doing, the moving, the industrious part of humanity. It's somewhat because of the ego piece, and somewhat because I felt in the justice of the world that it's more just to try and work to achieve things and make the world a better place. And therefore that justifies when I am consuming, when I am benefiting from the labor of others. I'm doing my part, they're doing their part, and it all sort of equalizes. And I was thinking a lot, and I have been thinking a lot about this because I told you earlier, I believe I'm in another transition phase. I'm not sure what the transition is going to. And the problem that I have, I'm stuck. It's a good stuck, is I love my life the way it is right now, that I can't imagine voluntarily giving up any part of it in order to create the time to do the other things I want to do. But it's a good conundrum. It's a nice place to be. And of course, with Abby being born, I am flying off to Manhattan every Saturday morning, and I am in my cocoon with my daughter, who is so extraordinarily generous that she is happy to have me there. And sometimes it's the two of us with Abby. Sometimes it's the three of us with Abby because of Yotam. But either way, I am enthralled to have my own time in a bottle stop and be with this little infant who's just over 12 weeks old now. And every single week, I have to get to know her. She has to get to know me, because a week is a very long percentage of an aspect of her life. She hasn't seen me, and I'm not sure she recognizes me. It's my own ego, once again, coming forward. But I've been thinking about what Gabor Mate said about this quest to justify our existence. He thinks, and he looks like he's in his 70s, he thinks that that is a waste of time. He thinks that's a conscious mistake. He thinks that people, in order to be happy, which is of course the quest, shouldn't necessarily obsess over accomplishments for the sake of being worthy, but they should look at the big picture and relax. Basically, he's telling us to relax, our type A achievement people, and be in the moment with the people that matter the most to us, because time is a finite commodity. He doesn't say that, or maybe he does and it was cut off on my YouTube, but that's where I go. Because time is the finite commodity, and because people, when they know they've reached the end of their lives, when they know that time is running out, click, 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 and they think, what did I miss? Very often what they feel they missed is the quality time with those they love most. They don't miss another degree, and they don't miss another dollar in their bank account, but they miss the quality time. And you can get back more money. You can earn it. You can harvest more food. You can buy more clothing. We haven't yet figured out how to get back more time. Once it's gone, it's evaporated. It's the sequence in life that Einstein wasn't able to figure out. The linear progression of time. We kid about the world revolving and revolving, and we can get back a second. And if you look at an awful lot of fantasy and an awful lot of what people create, a lot of it involves time travel. Our imagination about putting ourselves in a different time, or fast forwarding, or getting to do it over again and making a different choice. It's part of our creative consciousness, because so many people obviously have so many regrets about the way they spend time. So I've been thinking about that at my ripe old age of 63, because I still admit to an ego that yearns for recognition. I do. I yearn for recognition. I apply for prizes. Why do I do that? Who cares? Really? Like, most of the time the people sitting in the room are only the other people that have won the prize. Like, who gives a crap? I have so many, what's the word, like, achievements that I didn't even bother to frame and plaque, or if I frame them and plaque them, I didn't even put them on the wall yet. I'm collecting them. And you know what the funny thing about them is? Even as I'm collecting them, I know they're going to go in the trash by my daughter, who loves to throw everything away. And when I'm gone, maybe she'll keep my Gracie Award, which is a pretty little silver statuette, as a remembrance of all my years on the radio. Maybe she won't. But all the other stuff is going right in the garbage. It's en la basura. Because it isn't her achievement, it was mine, and I'm gone. And I totally get that. One of the things I know quite well, and I knew this as a practitioner, but certainly as a probate judge, is that when you die, your stuff is only another person's stuff. It means literally nothing to anyone, with the exception of maybe a couple of sentimental photos that those people find themselves in. But if they're not in the photo, they could care less about keeping the photo. This I know to be true. So I know that my ego still drives me, and I still have a quest for recognition and for accomplishment for the ego part of me. But the other part of me